We're here today to talk about Reddit, specifically the decision to ban the gender-critical subreddit from their website. This subreddit was a forum made of 65,000 subscribers, the vast majority of whom were women wanting to discuss feminist issues that affected them as women. Reddit has made this decision as part of a content policy change, which they followed with a strangely titled Remember the Human announcement. This announcement states that they wanted to close the gap between their values and their policies to explicitly address hate. And they came up with two new rules for the site. Rule 1 states that anyone who promotes hate based on identity or vulnerability will be banned. And Rule 2 states that community rules should be abided by and that users should post with an authentic personal interest. Along with Gender Critical, they also banned the right-wing subreddit The Donald and the liberal Chapo Trap House, along with hundreds of other subreddits. Reddit's takedown of Gender Critical seems extremely spurious at best, given that the subreddit hadn't breached either of the rules mentioned by Reddit in their announcements. The subreddit had never promoted hate based on identity or vulnerability, but merely questioned the gender ideology movement. Its community had always abided by the rules of the site, and users had always posted with an authentic personal interest, there's no question of that. Reddit has decided that a group of feminist women, discussing issues that affect them directly, are somehow in the same boat as some of the most extreme political subreddits that existed on the site. Why is that? The CEO of Reddit, Steve Huffman, said, "I have to admit that I've struggled with balancing my values as an American and around free speech and free expression with my values and the company's values around common human decency." Which, as a statement goes, it's a good aim. It makes a ton of sense. Except for Reddit, it doesn't. Huffman's and Reddit's values around common human decency don't seem to extend very far. Subreddits that are still operating freely include some of the most horrific examples of misogyny and abuse toward women on the entire internet, which is really saying something. There are hundreds of subreddits that are devoted to misogyny, abuse, objectifying women, and even promoting paedophilia and incest. We're going to list some of them here, and even though we've censored pretty much all of the content that we're about to show, if you're easily offended or sensitive to the topics of rape, incest, paedophilia, or other types of abuse toward women, we suggest the rest of this video probably isn't for you. There are so many subreddits devoted to hatred towards women that we can categorise them into several different groups, which in itself is quite shocking. There are those blatantly anti-feminist and anti-women subreddits, such as the male-only spaces Ask the Red Pill, Dog Brains, Pussy Pass Denied, Pro-Male Collective, Entitled Bitch, Feminazis, and others, all dedicated to putting women down and demeaning feminism, with insults, images of violence, homophobia, and misogyny at their very core, with hundreds of thousands of members and readers. This is shocking stuff, but even more so when you consider that Gender Critical, as a subreddit, wasn't engaging in anything even remotely similar and had some of the highest standards of moderation on the site. Then there's the porn problem. Reddit has a number of truly appalling subreddits with the sole purpose of demeaning and degrading women. This isn't conjecture, it explicitly says so on these subreddits. Some of these subreddits indulge in rape fantasy, with truly shocking stories featuring the sexual abuse and even murder of women being posted on a daily basis. And although the site claims that these are fantasies and not promoting real rape, it's clear that these subreddits are skirting very much along the boundaries, and in some cases promoting videos of actual sexual assault. There are subreddits set up specifically to fetishize women having dissociative episodes during porn shoots, episodes that are heavily linked to trauma and PTSD, all used for amusement and gratification by Reddit subscribers. There are also subreddits devoted to incest and paedophilia too, including many with teenagers dressed as little girls, complete with pigtails, school uniforms, and teddy bears. As far as we know, they're over the age of 18. As well as a huge amount of links to porn videos appearing to show incest. Although these are common themes and wider issues within pornography itself, the fact that Reddit is home to some of the largest collections of links to these videos is truly shocking. Finally, there's the subreddit Raceplay, a forum where white supremacy is mixed alongside hardcore pornography, with some of the most racist language on the site tolerated, allowed, and seemingly encouraged. For all the talk of supporting the Black Lives Matter cause from Reddit, they don't seem to be taking too much action on this. And I think that hypocrisy is the overall problem here. For Steve Huffman and Reddit to want us to remember the human is a noble aim, but they fall so short of doing that themselves that it makes a mockery of their entire announcements. The levels of brutality, abuse, degradation, dehumanization of women, especially black women on the site, are massive and a huge problem. By allowing this content and removing discussion from the site, Reddit have pretty much shown where their priorities lie. Remember the human, unless that human is female. Women have no female-only spaces on the site now, and even the ironically named 2X chromosome subreddit states that trans women are women despite them not even having 2X chromosomes. Not just that, but despite their rule of keeping it civil, they explicitly tell feminists to F right off. Remember the human is a good slogan, but if that's all it is, a slogan, and it doesn't lead to any real change to misogyny and abuse against women on the website, it's pretty meaningless. Steve Huffman really needs to think about whether allowing this content aligns with his values and the company's values around common human decency. Thank you for watching. You can subscribe to our channel and visit our website at thestatemedia.com, although we're not officially launching until later in the year.